Today, I want to talk to you about something that every writer experiences and absolutely zero writers enjoy, and that is rejection. So strap in. This one might sting a little. Hey there. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. I'm John Hartness. I'm the founder and publisher of Falstaff Books, as well as the author of over 40 novel-length works, including The Black Knight Chronicles, Bubba the Monster Hunter, and Quincy Harker Demon Hunter. I'm also a freelance editor and founder of the Saga Genre Fiction Writing Conference, and I'm a regular on the Southeastern Convention circuit, so you can find me at a lot of events. But today, I want to talk to you about rejection. Now, most of you, the vast majority of you, all of you I hope, have somehow survived middle school. If you're still in middle school, you should go find a different YouTube channel because I don't really have anything for the prepubescent crowd here. And if you've survived middle school and high school, odds are at some point in your life, you got rejected. And here is an unequivocal truth to that. You survived. It sucked, it hurt, it stung, you lived. That is the fact of it. Everyone gets rejected. At various points in our lives, in various endeavors, we're going to get rejected. Whether it's having the girl you have a crush on, have her friends tell you, no, really, don't send a rose to her for Valentine's Day. She ain't into you like that. Yeah, that made 7th grade awkward. Or whether it's, no, I don't really think I want to go out with you. That made 7th grade through my senior year of college awkward. Or, no, I don't think I want to marry you anymore, although I thought I did. That made for a rough summer before my senior year of college. Or maybe it's, yeah, I don't want to publish your book. And that made the first 6 months before I published my first self-published book awkward and uncomfortable. 2, thank you, we've reviewed your application and we don't think that you are quite ready for prime time to appear at our convention yet, which would be the first 2 times I applied to be a guest at DragonCon. Strangely enough, none of those killed me. A few of them felt like the world was ending at the time. But here I am, many years later, happily married for 30 years. I've been a guest or attending professional at DragonCon for 14 years now, and I've published 43 books and more short stories than I've bothered to count. So, despite a 40-plus year history of being rejected for things, I'm still here, I'm still moderately thriving, and I'm still creating. I also have a decades-long history in theater and community theater, and that's a pile of rejection right there. I just got one a few months ago. I decided I would try doing some acting again and submitted my resume and online information to a local acting agent. About a week later, I got the thank you, but no thank you email. I was rejected. I don't talk about that a whole lot because I want my social media and forward-facing appearance to be upbeat and successful because success breeds success. But this is on my mind right now because I got an email today that the pitch for the Quincy Harker TV show that I've been working on for most of a year with a couple of friends who are way more tied into the TV and film industry than I am, well, we got rejected again. And this time it was rejected by an organization because the premise was too close to something they're already working on. So we got rejected because we were the second mouse to go after the cheese. That's a bad analogy because the first, never mind. The second mouse usually gets the cheese. Regardless, we got rejected because somebody got there first with a similar premise. There's no guarantee that that show's going to get made either, but we're going to keep going. So what I want to talk to y'all about today is the kinds of rejections and how to respond and keep yourself motivated when you're getting these rejections. So, literally, rejection happens to everyone. If writers never got rejected, then former New York Times best-selling authors wouldn't now be publishing with Falstaff because they'd still be publishing with the people that put them on the Times list. But markets change, times change, editorial tastes change, and people work with different people. I'm the safety school for a couple of our writers, and I've told their agents, please pitch this to somebody with bigger production budgets and deeper pockets than me first. And if they don't want it, I will happily take it because this is one of my favorite writers and I love working with them. So I'll take anything they got. But try to sell it someplace bigger first because that's better for the writer. Also, I have backlist titles from this writer, so selling to a bigger press pays me on the back end too. I literally only know one writer who's never received a rejection letter. I'm not going to tell you who it is, because it is a good friend of mine, and I do hate him a little bit just for that. But he also survived middle school and high school, and I'm pretty sure he got rejected at least once there. So we're all in the same boat. Everybody gets rejected. But there's different kinds of rejections when we're talking about publishing. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to treat querying an agent and submitting or pitching to a publisher as the exact same thing. They're not, but they're close enough. And the responses and how you react to their responses is going to be the same. So let's talk about the different types of rejection. And it kind of is a skill check. And it's kind of an achievement unlocked moment when you progress. Because the very first kind of rejection that you get, if you think that the form rejection, thank you for submitting to Falstaff Books, we are unable to accept everything that is submitted to us. Unfortunately, your book is not a good fit for our production schedule at this time. We wish you the best of luck in placing this book elsewhere. If you think that sounds like something that gets copy and pasted into emails when we're rejecting works, it's because it is. We are copy and pasting. I literally have a document on my desktop that says form rejection letter text. Because when we were open for unsolicited submissions, we bought 2 books out of 300 submissions that came in that month. Many of them were rejected out of hand. Maybe they couldn't follow the submission guidelines. Maybe the book was either way too long or way too short, and they didn't give me any reason to move past that. Maybe they just didn't submit the right book. I got a submission that was about some dude living with his dog in one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. And it was a memoir. We don't do that. That's not what Falstaff Books does. So that was a waste of his electronic stamp and a waste of the few minutes it took our editors to read the query letter and send off the form rejection without even looking at the book. A form rejection is the first kind that everybody gets. And it doesn't give you, as the writer, anything to go on other than, well, I didn't sell that story. You don't know why you didn't sell the story. You just know that that editor or agent said, not a good fit for me at this time. Well, why? And no, you can't really email them and ask why. Because honestly, if you're getting a form rejection, they may not have read the whole submission. They may have stopped at your query letter. They may have stopped at the first paragraph of your book. And they may not remember anything other than, yeah, I looked at it, I didn't like it, and I sent you the rejection. When you're getting form rejections, that's usually the beginning of your journey. And when you get a form rejection, unfortunately, you just have to move on to the next thing on your list. If you happen to run into that agent or editor at an event sometime and you get the opportunity to casually ask them, you can. It's not taboo to ask. I've had people ask me. It doesn't bug me. I'm afraid it bugs them because usually my response is, I'm really sorry, but I don't remember. If I sent you a form rejection 3 months ago, I may have never even seen it. I have people who read submissions for us, and I often don't read the thing until it gets through 1 or 2 of them first. But you can always ask. Just understand that you are likely to be the one with hurt feelings as opposed to annoying the editor or agent. They're probably not going to care because the book was, if it got a form rejection, it was out of their mind the second they sent the email. Sorry, but that's the harsh truth of it. When people are open for unsolicited submissions, they get so many that if it's a form rejection, don't remember anything about it. I took pitches live at Saga last weekend, a week or so ago. In 3 hours, Teresa, my associate publisher, and I took over 30 pitches. And we asked for chapters on a lot of them. And some of them people were pitching for practice because it is an educational setting. But the people that have pitched to me that I've just said, yeah, that doesn't sound like a good fit for me, I'm sorry. Don't bother coming up to me at Mid-South-Con this weekend and asking me about it because I won't remember your pitch. Once it's rejected, it's wiped. It's gone. So, especially if you're getting a form rejection, don't bother asking for feedback. If they'd have wanted to give you feedback, they would have. Because that's the second step. That's the first of your achievement unlocked moments in getting rejected. And there are a couple of them. Because you may get a personalized rejection letter with specific notes. Hey, I really liked this, but it's too much like something else we already publish. Okay. That's the rejection we got for the potential Harker TV show. All right, well, can't fight that. I really liked this, but the pacing was bad. Okay. That's actionable. I can put that into work when I'm revising my books. I really liked this, but I felt the character was too disconnected from everyone else. Okay, that's something I can work on when I'm revising. I really liked this, but your third act was super weak. Okay, that I can definitely work on. Your personalized rejections come with notes. And it's not just, hey, thank you for sending this in. I appreciate looking at it. I liked it, but I'm not going to buy it. No, that's not what I'm talking about, because that may still be a copy and paste form rejection. Your personalized rejections have something to help you in your craft, to help you grow. And those come because the editor or agent saw something in your work that they were interested in fostering and making better. So if you get those, that is an achievement unlocked. It's not, oh my God, I got to stop everything. I'm terrible. No. Somebody cared enough to take an extra couple of minutes to write you a real note with some advice. Take it. Now, you may take it and completely dismiss it because maybe those notes are BS. Or maybe they're things that you know. Maybe the character has trouble relating to everybody else because the character's on the spectrum and they have challenges relating to people, and that's what you wanted. So, okay, mission accomplished. You did it. Now you just need an editor who wants to publish a book with a protagonist that's on the spectrum and is going to be more emotionally distant from the rest of the ensemble. That's what you wanted for that character. So, good job. But that's not going to be for the tastes of every editor. Note, I know that not all folks on the spectrum have issues relating to individuals. That was just an example. So, after you've progressed from getting your personalized rejections, your next achievement unlocked is the revise and resubmit letter. I get asked a lot, hey, can I rework this and send it back to you? The answer is literally always no. Because if I want you to tweak it according to my notes and send it back to me, I will say so in the rejection, because I will give you a revise and resubmit letter instead of a rejection. That's the closest you're going to get before you get an acceptance letter. Revise and resubmit is, here are some broad brushstroke notes, some things I'd like to see you work on, and now I'm testing you to see if I think you can take direction and take edits well. You then have to decide if you're willing to make those changes and resubmit. A revise and resubmit letter is not a rejection. It is the next best thing to an acceptance letter. We don't do very many R&Rs at Falstaff. Most of the folks I know do very few R&R letters because it's usually either good to go or, yeah, I can edit this into shape, or it's nowhere close. And if it's close enough that I can fix it in edits, we're just going to offer the contract. And if it's nowhere close, we're going to give a rejection. So a revise and resubmit is a teeny tiny portion. So if you get one, cheers. Congrats. That's awesome. You done good, kid. But then you have to evaluate it. You have to look and see if those are changes you're willing to make, or if they're changes you can make. So your revise and resubmit means you're close, but I don't know, might not be working, or maybe it is. But those are the major types of rejection letters: form rejections, personalized rejections, and revise and resubmit. And when you get one of these, your immediate response is, well, it's drinking time, or Haagen-Dazs time. You know, maybe the way you handle rejection is sit down with a pint of Ben & Jerry's. Works okay for me. But then you've got to figure out what's next. And like I said, if it's a form rejection, just move on. Go down the list. If it's a personalized rejection, I have notes. If it's a personalized rejection, take a good look at it and see if you think that that is something you should adjust before you submit the book elsewhere. Note, a personalized rejection is not a revise and resubmit. A revise and resubmit will specifically ask you to resubmit. And an editor or agent who says, I'm not into this, but I'd like to see the next thing, that's also not a revise and resubmit. That's a, you've got promise, but I don't want this book, so don't send that book again. So if you've gotten a personalized rejection, you take a look at the notes they gave you and decide if those are changes you're interested in making to the book before you send it out somewhere else, and then maybe you go tweak the book. Or maybe you think, that editor's just not a good fit for this book, and I am going to not pay attention to what they do, to what they say I should do, because it's your book. And then if you get a revise and resubmit, you do the same thing, the same analysis process, and then decide if you're going to do the work and send it back to that editor or agent. Don't dick around with that. If you're going to do it in a relatively short period of time. They may have said something in the revise and resubmit letter to give you a timeline, or they may not. But if they gave you a timeline, hit it. If they didn't, email them back and say, I think I can have this R&R done in a month. Is that soon enough for you? Yes. I think I can have it in 3 months. Is that soon enough for you? That's a little long. I'd rather see it in 6 weeks than get off your ass and do it in 6 weeks. But you got to do the work. So you really want to pay attention to what kinds of rejections you're getting and whether or not they're coming from a place that seems to mesh for you. And seriously, everybody gets them. I'm shooting this video today because I got a rejection an hour ago. It happens to all of us. It's happening to me right now because Daisy's on the floor and has no interest in coming up and being on a video. Come on, baby. And she has walked away. See, rejection happens to everyone. And I want to give you an opportunity in our featured book spotlight section to check out a book that I think is fantastic that was rejected over 40 times before we picked it up. It's called Impervious by A.J. Hartley. It's a contemporary fantasy framed around a horrific real-world event, and it's kind of a Portal fantasy vibe. It's a gut punch of a thriller-esque fantasy novel, and you can get it at the links in the description. And that's our spotlight for the week. So you should go buy that. And before you do, you should like, subscribe, and leave me a comment about the best or worst rejection you've ever gotten. And it can be an embarrassing middle school rejection, or it can be a rejection on your books. The embarrassing middle school one is purely for my own entertainment, but if you got a rejection on your book that you want to tell me about, or ask me if the editor's crazy, drop it in the comments. And if you want your name on the purple wall with all these cool people, you can become a member of the channel, and that helps support us that way. So till next time, I'm going to get back to work because I just got my latest rejection, and that means it's time to go do the work some more. So now you go do the work. Bye.